name, where you from, where you at now?
Vyper, Cambridge, USA.
I am Vyper. I am Vyper.
From Cambridge, USA, at Cambridge, USA, everything Cambridge, man. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is me. Motivational speaker, DJ coach, MC, whatever you want to call it, man. Whatever that can get done, I'm doing it. That's what I am, man. A getter doner. I wanted to turn into something that could be super lucrative for me and myself and my family. Also, I see myself going from level 3 to level 5, building my brand and building the Vyper and vyperholic brand to the next level and boost it up from where it's at right now. Obviously, it's at a good spot, but there's a lot more space to cover, so I want to cover a lot more space for sure.
What are some of the things that you felt like you had to sacrifice in order to make these things happen?
I sacrificed my time with people or with anything. I sacrificed a lot of time in just doing things that I think that would have helped me. But, I mean, obviously, I sacrificed it for, some people say bad, some people say good, but, I mean, experience. Like we talked about earlier, experience, it weighs more than a lot more than what's going on. And I hope that it was a sacrifice for a good reason.
Worth it?
Yes, I hope so. Eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
And what was one of the most important things you learned along the way? Anything. Life, anything.
The most important thing is know your why. Why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, why you keep doing it?
Yeah.
And you have to know why you've been doing it for so long. It's like you got to know your why. If you can know what your why is, I think that's half the battle. So if this is what you love, this is what you want to do, you should be all right, for sure. Because when you're by yourself, the demons is talking to you like, yo, just go home. Like, just quit. Like, that's the stuff that rings in everybody's head. Like, yo, just give it up. Like, you don't need to be here. You can do something else. But you signed the papers for a reason. You signed up for this for a reason. So, like, if you want to give up, go ahead. Like, that's what they want you to do is give up, right? So,
Vyper, thank you for coming, bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
General rule of thumb is like about a fist away from the mic. If you point it towards your face, it'll actually grab it better.
For sure.
All right, I'll set the scene for everybody because I've been wanting to have you on for a while. Basically, about 2 years ago, we met in that first meeting for the Organic Buzz Art Collective group, which is basically like you had a bunch of homies from Boston kind of realizing that they need to build together, and whether or not they're going to go in on the same projects at the same time should be linking all the creatives that can network people together, put them together, and just build together. So I started following you, like doing your thing, and I'd be watching you at shows, at doing, whether it was like you doing concerts or you doing shows. I've been to a few of them as well. And honestly, man, like utmost respect, because I know you probably don't ever, being humble, you probably don't look at yourself this way, but when I see you controlling a crowd, like that is not something a lot of people can do. And like want to get into too, like the split personality type of thing that it takes to be that type of person there versus being a different person, or how you are different when you're at home. But when I see you talking to a crowd, it's like there are some people that could probably say the same words that you do that don't have the same effect on the people. Right. I think a lot of what it comes down to is like actually generally caring and wanting people to have a good time, and also wanting to do a good job.
For sure.
You know, like people be asking me, hey, how do you take care of all your plants? And it's like, well, you know, I water them and I care. You know, like caring makes a big difference. But I've honestly had the utmost respect for what you've been able to do, like pushing a crowd. And then clearly I've seen you, even just in the past 2 years, start to make some big moves. So I'd love to hear about like kind of what got you into DJing in the first place, like what brought you to music, and then deciding that was even right for you. Because here it's like I always like to show with different creatives what it is that their art is and how it is that they go about doing it. And most people won't look at what you do as an art, but I do, right? I think conversation's an art. I think running a business is an art, you know? So how'd you originally get into DJing?
That's a great question. So my mom, my dad, they're from the island. So like music is one thing that we always like subconsciously just playing all the time in the house.
Yeah.
Cleaning up the house, there's music on and stuff like that. So like as a kid, the music was just always on. And for some reason, I always was good at remembering like songs, like lyrics to songs. Like I could always like hear it 2 or 3 times and like I know like a chorus or like a verse. So that's kind of like where I kind of was like, I like music, but I don't know. And then when I was in high school, I used to we was on a football team. We used to be on like a regular school bus because our school didn't have a football field near the school, so we had to take a bus to practice.
Yep.
And I used to make tapes for the bus, like literally sit in front of the radio, hold like pause.
That they would actually give to the bus driver?
And I would give it to the bus driver.
That must have been a lit bus ride.
I would give it to the bus driver, and the bus would go crazy because it's like all the hits. So it's like, all right, they like it, and I guess I know what hits are because obviously I used to listen to like 88.9 or like even like Jam 94.5 used to have like the new at 7 or whatever it was.
And
I
you grew up in Cambridge, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I used to like record all those things and like put them all in one and bring it to practice.
And it was still on a tape?
It was on tape.
Yeah.
I used to tape over my mother's stuff. I used to put the cotton balls at the top so it would allow you to record, and I used to record over my mother's tapes. Like not because she's not gonna know it. I did it.
Yeah.
She doesn't even listen to this anymore. So it's like I'm gonna record over it. And if she asks me who did this, I'll just shrug like I don't know who did it. So that's what kind of like started me like, yo, I actually can figure out what is going on. Mm-hmm. And then the summer of 2004 is when it kind of like it went crazy.
How old are you?
I'm about to be 35 in October.
Word. So were you graduating then?
I was graduating high school, and that was my graduating summer. So I just graduated in May or whatever, June, and that was my summer. And a good friend of mine's Nexus, he was a DJ in Cambridge as well, and it was like if I wasn't doing it, he was doing it. So it's like, and one of my good friends, Tipsy, he was me and him went to camp together, and we used to battle. Like we used to leave. We stayed at overnight camp, and used to go home on the weekends. Come back. We used to go home on Friday, come back on Sunday. And I used to go downtown and buy CDs and stuff like that. We used to battle. Like, what CD did you get this week? And I used to kind of always win. So that's like, he's my boy today. We went on a bike trip the other day. But that's kind of what started the whole train. Like, yo, I think I know what I'm doing.
But so when you were battling, you're just battling off like who could make the doper mix? You're not.
No, I was battling like.
You're in a place?
Like, no, I was like buying a mixtape. He was buying a mixtape. I was buying Hot 97. He was buying Power 105.
Word, okay.
And it was like, this one's way better than that.
Yeah.
That's how kind of we was battling. Like, oh, you don't have this one. I have Gemini. I have Power 23. You have Power 21. You don't even know 23 just came out. I got it before you. Your guy's not ready to go yet. So that's kind of how I started, and then the rest was like kind of history.
That's kind of dope too, because in like a weird way, you actually play this kind of filter for the culture, because you end up going to what everyone ends up already finding their music through, which is the radio and shit at the time, and then you're then synthesizing that down to like, here's what's better out of it, which.
Right.
So you were kind of actually really spinning before you were really spinning.
Right.
So then where was the evolution of like, I'm going to buy some equipment and actually get set up because I'm either just want to do it or I could get paid for this?
So I had CDs. I was a CD guy for years. My friends, they all had Nexus and Tipsy. They both had laptops before me. And I didn't have a laptop because I didn't have the money for it, and I wasn't going to ask my mother for it. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to ask you for this money because I need to know the grind about how this is going to work. So I had CDs forever. So I used to play off of CDs. Like, I would burn CDs, 2 of the same CDs. I'll burn it so I know like I can mix them together. But I had those 2, and then one day I got a phone call and someone said, I can get you a laptop brand new in the box for, I think it was like $700. Like a brand new Mac in the box, $700. And these dudes had like, and this is the Mac where like, the silver keys. Mm-hmm. It was one of those. And I was like, you know what? I worked, so I was just like, you know what? I'll take it. I don't have one, but I'll take it. And these dudes was like, yo, Macs are trash. Don't get that. It's not good. Like, that's the worst thing you can get. I'm just like, whatever. I'm on it. Like, this is me. So once I got that, I just started downloading stuff. Obviously, Napster and all that stuff was big back then. So I was doing a lot of that. We were sharing a lot of music, and then we did parties. I can give you a story about my first party ever. I wasn't there. Like my first part, one of my first part. I got 3 first party ever stories. So my first party ever was a Sweet 16, and I had work the same day. But I booked it. Like when they asked me to do the party, I was like, hell yeah! Like what? We're there. And also one of my good friends now, Bruce. It was his girlfriend's sister, her Sweet 16, and we were like, we're doing it. So I had work. So I told Tipsy, hey, listen, go and start the party. I'll get there after work. I'll leave early and I'll finish it. And it was like, all right, cool. So that's what was happening. But we didn't have our own speakers. We rented speakers. So I went to like Guitar Center or Daddy Junkie Music, rented speakers the night before for 2 days, had speakers, and didn't test them. I left them at the party. I brought them to the party, and they didn't work. They were like blown.
Like PAs?
Yeah, like
Word.
PA speakers. They're blown. But I didn't know that. So I'm there. I'm like, what the hell? They're calling me. I'm like, yo, what's the issue? Like, yo, the speakers don't work. I'm like, you're setting it up wrong. He's like, nah, the speakers don't work. So I called my aunt. My aunt's boyfriend was the DJ. So I called him. I begged him, like, can you please just go and check to see what's going on? I'm at work for an hour. After that, I don't know. So after that, I'll be there. And then he was like, all right, I'll go check. He gets there. He calls me. He's like, yo, I don't know what's going on. It's not working. I was like, oh, man. So I finally get there. And my first party ever was DJ'd off of my set and laptop speakers. Literally small, like, volume on the side laptop speakers.
Were they pissed?
They was so pissed. And I was so pissed because it's like, yo, I'm done. This is over. It's over.
It just started and it's over.
Yeah, it's done. It's like, yo, this is it. Like, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool while it lasted, but this is over. So, with that being said, that was my first ever party. So with that being after that day, I was like, you know what? I'm on Craigslist. I'm getting my own speakers. So I kind of like stockpiled speakers. Like every time I see them on Craigslist, I bought them. Didn't matter if I needed them or not. I was just buying them because I never wanted to be in that predicament again because that's the worst feeling ever. Like, yo, what the hell are you doing? So my second party was in a basement party, and it went smooth. One of my good friends, Primetime Cuts, he has a barbershop now. That's my second real party, and it went so smooth. It was like, yo, I think this is like, after you finish a party, you have that like, it's like that feeling like, yo, that was it, that was the one. So that's what kind of like drove me to the next. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one was like a cookout. I did that well, so now it's back to back 2 good parties. Just like, oh, this is how it is, and it wasn't like there was social media and video chat and that. It was kind of like, yo, word of mouth, and it was going crazy. So it's just like, okay.
And you started doing, so it was always a party look before it was a club look. Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and people in Cambridge party differently. I mean, as soon as you get into any more condensed area of any city, you'll see like regardless of how that community's set up, there's a community. So people hang out on the streets together. Right. They party in the street together. They actually do parties. Like this further away from a city you get, you start realizing that they only really think of going to the club. And like a house party ain't a real house party. Like it's just speakers playing, you know.
We used to throw parties in the church. In the basement
really?
Of a church, yeah.
Jesus Christ, people sinning.
But it was like, we never thought of that. We were just like, it's a spot.
Exactly.
We're paying the church, so they got their money.
Yeah.
We got people at the door, but it was just like, we never thought about like, yo, we're in the church, you're bugging. But it was cool, man. That was kind of like the beginning of it all. And then my homie Nexus went to UMass Amherst.
Me too.
And then he
what year did you graduate? He's a few years older than me. Okay, word. Yeah, I started in 7.
Oh, so he was still there.
Word.
He used to do parties at like what's that thing called? Oh my God, he's gonna kill me.
It's probably just the downstairs area of it's part of the
It wasn't
campus.
A part of campus. It was offsite. It was like kind of offsite. It was like not a cultural center.
Yeah,
I'm so
I know
sick.
I know what you're talking about. It is kind of a cultural center. Shit, I'm forgetting the name of it.
Yeah, but
Either way.
we was there, and he used to throw parties like first Friday parties and this party and that party, then blackout, and this didn't. It was just going crazy. I used to be, and I figured out like, listen, we both can't DJ at the same time, so I got to find something else that will work that we can both be doing this at the same time. So I was like, all right, you'll DJ, I'll just MC. Like, we'll see. Let's see how that goes. And it was like, all right, it works. Let's do it again. That works. Let's do that. Let's do it again. And they were like, well, we'll vice versa. Then I'll start the party off. He'll be fixing stuff, and then when starts to get crazy, he'll come on. Then I'll start emceeing. It's just like we turned it into it was poetry, for sure, at first, and then we got old, and it was like, yo, we got life to live. Like we got stuff to do. So we kind of, I mean, to this day, this is like one of my best friends, but we kind of like he started doing his own thing. He had work and stuff like that, so he kind of like I had to learn. So the thing is, I always played music, but I when it was like prime time, I would always be like, yo, go ahead. I had to learn how to like, yo, this is premium time, this is premium hour, like get ready to go. We got to get this stuff done. But besides that, that's kind of like the gist of like kind of how it started. It was either me or him doing events, so we kind of like, you know what, put it together. We started a little crew together, me and him and Tipsy. We did a little crew. We had like my homie Al in it. We had my other homie Jason. We added them all together. My other homie Jason, we added them all together. We kind of did it. And then for like 4 or 5 years, and then it kind of like disintegrated. It was like, yo, everyone's doing their own thing.
Were you making money? Was that even a goal?
For sure. I mean, making money was definitely a thing, but I worked. I've been working since I was 18. So it was like, I didn't need the party money. Like, I worked as a server. I was a server since I was 18. So it was like back then when going out was busy, it was like I'm making X amount of dollars
good
for
money
tips.
Serving, yeah.
So it's like I'm leaving my job, going to a party. It's like, yo, I
making
can,
less.
Right.
Yeah,
And I wasn't like I was stressing it. It was just like, all right, like this is my homies. Like I got y'all. Like
and you like to do it.
Right. And it's something that I like to do. So it was like, they always say like if you can do it for
never
free.
work a day in your life.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I was like, you know what? I'm smooth with it. Like this is the crew, this is how we do it. And also being from where we're from, all from the same spot, it's like, yo, we're already fighting against everybody else. Like people think of Cambridge being like, yo, a suburban or a place where it's like who's really from there? Is there really any black people there? That's the thing you always get, like, are there black people in Cambridge? That's what they say. Like, I don't know if there's black people, and it's like, yo, there's a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
And it's so that's kind of how we started as a unit, and we really kind of like took over that whole like Cambridge, Somerville, Medford, Malden, Everett, Revere. We kind of like, that's our side. Like, yo, if something's crazy, it was either us or another crew that was doing it. It was either 2 crews, and if there's 2 parties in the night, it was either or. It was one over there, one over here. So that's kind of how it went for at least 4 or 5 years, for sure.
Damn. And so was there, like, you kind of strike me as a person that it probably never made you even, like, nervous or anxious to MC, or did it?
Nah.
It just always came. Yeah.
It was never something that I, like, thought about. I used to do it. I used to MC, like mixtapes. Like, I'll listen to mixtapes walking. If, like, you can ask people now, if they see me walking, like, I have headphones on, like, I'm like, are you on the phone? Like, no, I'm just talking shit to the music. Like, it's weird. Like, I can MC a mixtape that I never heard before.
Word.
Like, so that's how I kind of like practice. When I tell people like, yo, how do you practice? It's like, this is how I practice.
Yeah.
Like, listen to music and like, what would you say for this song? What would you say for that song? How would you intro this song? How would you intro that song? So
yeah, and it's funny because once you put it up in your head, even if it's just on a walk and you don't like think that you remember it, but then like a month and a half, 2 months later, you're in a set, that song comes back on, and
like,
whether or not, right. Even if you don't directly remember that moment, you put it in your head already. Like, the brain's a crazy thing; it's up there somewhere, and then it's like freestyling. Like, there are some people that look at freestyling and they're just like, how the fuck?
People that freestyle that, to me personally, that's the art.
Oh, for sure.
Like Loaded
Yo,
Lux
'cause-
and Sue Surf and those guys, they're crazy.
They're real crazy. And like, because I know people that are dope hip-hop artists, real dope. Like, I love their albums, but they can't freestyle for shit. They're writers.
Facts.
My issue is probably more of like, I could freestyle, but I'll overthink it, and next thing you know, I'm thinking about how this, if I'm writing, how this line's gonna affect the next line, gonna do this, and I stunt the own flow. Because when you're just spitting it out, like, you're natural with the flow. I think that's why RZA was brilliant, is because he probably saw that in a lot of the Wu-Tang guys. So a lot of what we love for Wu-Tang was him having these dudes spitting with the emotion off the top of the dome, and then he's going back into the studio, cutting it into the beat the right way, and making it into a track that's developed. It's not them starting out knowing it. Now it's your turn on the track, go. Like, he had them in raw form, and
Just
then
turn the
put
mic
them
on and put the beat on.
Yeah, yeah.
If you figure out something I don't like that, I'll cut it off, and that's your little
Exactly, yeah.
That's pretty dope.
And I think it's also crazy too, like the off the dome shit. So I had my phone recording when we were spitting in the Hive, and I sent it to one of my friends. I'm telling her, I'm like, listen to this one. I'm like, the first 4 lines are absolute trash, and you could tell I'm not with it at all. And then when I say the Bruce Lee line is when I just decided to say fuck it and let go, and then listen to how my voice sounds after that. And just to think that you're throwing words out of your mouth at 1,000,000 miles per minute, and you're having a conscious conversation like, this is a really gangster beat. Do I really want to just start spitting like a gangster rapper? And like how that's affecting the lines coming out of your mouth to just fuck it, and you have no idea what you're going to say next, but it just works. You get into flow state, right? And I think when you see people freestyle, you also get to see the way that their mind acts normally, because they end up spitting at a speed that is normally around the same speed that they think. So those are the people that are always got a ton of thoughts in there, and it's like all jammed up in there, and then finally they get on a wave, whether that's slow rap or fast. Because, you know, like, you listen to Griselda, and one thing I would you know those cats, right?
For sure.
One thing I would notice with, like, when you hear some of like Benny the Butcher's freestyles, right? Clearly he's taken some of those freestyles, but when he lays them on a track, he's got it now in front of him, and he slows it down. And we all like the slow down one. Slow down one makes a better track. That's some of the first advice you get from people, a producer in the studio, like, slow it down.
Right.
But when it's coming out as a wave or as like a river, you can't do that. Like, if I consciously try to slow it down, I'm gonna fuck myself up. You know what I mean? So I feel like in a lot of ways, there's stuff that you're doing when you're MCing that is like a freestyle that like, you know, other people probably think too much about.
Right. I just, like you said, it just flows. It's a river.
Yeah,
You got to be, my Bruce Lee quote is, you got to be like water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Once you're water, it just flows. So, especially in a venue, I always told myself, no matter what, someone has to be able to move. Like even in like venues that are empty. Let's say I've done plenty of empty parties, plenty of empty clubs and bars, but like, my job is not to be upset about it being empty. Now I got to make the bartenders, people that are working there, have fun. Like, listen, you guys are working. This is your party. This is your paid party. So I've been in plenty of those. A DJ would be lying to you if they ever said every party that I had was a popping party.
It was hype, yeah.
It was just not. That's fake. That's false. So you got to find them. You got to find your niche. If you can find your niche, you got to find that one person in the club and say, listen, my job is to make this bartender dance. Or this bartender like, I didn't think so. Because the biggest thing is, people see me, they look at me, they're like, yo, there's no way he knows this type of music. There's no way he knows like folk music. There's no way he knows like stuff like that. And it's like, oh shoot, you know this? Like, yeah, stop. Like, I'm well rounded. I mean, don't assume that I don't know anything. Yeah. Don't assume that I'm a hip hop, dancehall, and trap DJ. It's like, that's not what it is. It's a lot more than it is, for sure.
Yeah, and I think what also probably differentiates you and other people is because we've all seen those DJs or artists that get to a party or a show or a concert that the turnout isn't what they want.
Right.
But then there's nothing worse than the people that are literally why you showed up to that place. Right. That are so fucking dead on the scene that they're just like, oh, well, there's not enough people here, so I don't need to show out, or I don't need to do this, and that
people that
kills
don't come
the
inside
mood.
There's people that look inside of a club like a window and be like, "Oh, there's not enough people here." Like you make the people here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you come in here and they see 4, someone else comes with 3 other people. Now they coming in. This other person comes in. Now it's 15 people. 15 is enough.
Yeah.
15 can turn into 30 in a half an hour.
For sure.
Right. I always make a statement like, "Listen, love the AC now," because sometimes venues are frozen.
Yeah.
Love the AC now because it's gonna get hot later.
Yeah.
People are like, "Yo, how did you know?" I'm like, it always happens. This is how it always happens.
As soon as there's 25 bodies in a room, it's like 98.6 everywhere.
Right. And it's like, all right, this is gonna get hot, and it's gonna get hot fast.
There's this TED Talk, the document, or I think it's like something like how to start a dance party, but it's basically like it's an outside venue. No one's dancing to the music. Everyone's kind of, off, just sitting around. And these 2 girls just go into the middle where like everyone could see them, and they just start getting down. And then those 2, they bring someone else sees them getting down, like, fuck it, I want to dance too. And they come in, and within like 7 minutes,
that's true.
there's a huge, like, I love when that happens, when nothing's popping off. But, when you connect with the crowd too, I'm sure you can make it happen a lot faster.
Everybody gets kind of like weird. Everyone has like, no matter how old you are, you get that like, I don't want to be the first person to do it.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So that's why if you see me at a party too, I'm kind of like dancing as well, because it's like, yo, he's being cooked. He's being crazy. Like, it's okay to be yourself here. It's okay to do what you want here. Like, all right, this is a good environment.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
For sure. Absolutely.
So then house parties, 4 or 5 years, crew kind of disperses. Where does it make the jump to getting paid to be someone specific's road DJ, or just, and I'm assuming that since you and your boys you're telling me that Cambridge, Malden, all these other places, if a party was happening, then it was 1 or 2 people that were spinning it.
Right.
I'm assuming you got ingrained into a network, and then just naturally people would kind of seek you out. But where did that jump happen to now? Like,
I mean, I used to do like teen center parties, right, for the teens. I used to be a youth. I'm a youth worker to this day, but I used to do like teen center parties, like, and doing teen center parties for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Your teens now become adults.
Yeah,
and it's we remember you.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, yeah, I guess. And it's like, oh, we remember you. So kind of like, I had 6, 7, 8, 9 years of like teen center parties, and like 16. If you're 16 now, you're 23. It's like, this is the guy. Like, this is absolutely the guy. So like, that was my thing for a while. I was doing teen center parties. I really wasn't doing a lot of clubs. I was doing a lot of personal parties, doing a lot of weddings.
Is it better money?
Yeah, in Massachusetts, yes, absolutely.
To do parties over clubs? Yeah,
Absolutely.
It makes sense.
No shot to no like promoter, but they just don't. Promoters, there's a subconscious with promoters that they feel like they don't have to pay us.
Yeah.
So they was just like, yo, and I was never the person to beg, like, yo, put me on a party, please put me on, I'll go crazy. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's your loss.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not going to be out here for the low, because promoters are leaving with 10 G's.
Yeah, that Twin brought that up when we did a podcast together, and he was saying that, like, in different parts of the country, they treat you way better. He was saying...
My homies in Minnesota, I'll be even before this, like, if COVID didn't hit, I probably would have went to Minnesota already, but he was like, yo, I wanted to bring you out here. I was supposed to go out to Minnesota for Super Bowl, but I didn't ever made it. Just a lot of stuff going on. But he was saying... We can fly you. We can get you a ticket out here, a hotel, and $700. I was like, all right, that's not a bad deal. Like, that's hospitality. Like, it's hard for me to bring my other state DJs out here, unless I'm throwing a party and tell them that, hey, I can get you a hotel, but they're gonna give you $200. I can't screw my face to say that to somebody, and then they get saying like, "Oh, we can give you $700 where I'm from." It's like, I don't want to disrespect where I'm from. Like, they're gonna be like, "I'm never gonna come back to Boston." Like, why go to Boston?
I'm paying what it takes me to get there and eat is what I'm getting paid.
Right. So that's a.
And so Twin was also saying in Boston that they try to make you gear your crowd and gear your music. Like, you'll go into certain places and they'll be like, don't play this.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's to be honest, they don't like certain type of people in their clubs or certain type of energy in their clubs.
Yeah.
And obviously the club owners and the club promoters work for the club owners, so they already got their name on the line. So, and promoters don't want to lose anything. I want my club, I want my night, I want my whatever. So they're like, hey, can you just take it easy on the Gucci man? But if the club wants Gucci, see, the thing is with me, I don't really follow directions. I don't follow. I'm serious. You can ask Twin. You can ask people that know me. Like, listen, guys, no trap music today. Like, no crunk music. If it's time for that, if you could feel like, as a DJ, you could feel like, yo, it's time. Yeah. Like, I don't care about what's going on. You're doing the people a disservice if you don't even do it. It's like, yo, I'm not gonna make myself look crazy because you said, oh, please, like, nah, this gonna get like the biggest song. Let's say back in the day was "Nuck If You Buck," right?
Yeah.
And "Nuck If You Buck" was one of those songs that kind of like started everything. But it's like if the club is at a, like, you could tell before the club's about to spill over. Like, I always use like a cup as a club. Like, when you get there, you just pouring. People starting to get in there. It's getting liver. And then when it gets to that point when it spills over, it's like you can't stop it from spilling. So, "Nuck If You Buck," when it was time for "Nuck If You Buck," and you play it, that's when the club just goes. That's when it's at the peak. Yeah. And you start playing all peak songs, and it's an art to be a DJ. It's like you gotta be able to understand what's going on. You gotta be patient, and you gotta know when it's time to let it loose. Yeah. And when it's time to let loose, you gotta play the songs they want to hear. I get it. People have own clubs and have their own rules, but sorry.
Has anyone ever said anything?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They told me, listen, not this week. I went in the club a week before. They're like, not this week. All right, cool. 12:30 came. Let's say 1:30 came. Everyone, you could feel the energy. You're looking around. I'll look at Twin, or I'll look at my homie Bruce and them. I'm like, you know what time it is. And then they'll just play it. And you can see the owner like put his hand on his head open. Like, this guy doesn't listen to me. But it's like now the club went from like 8 to 12. And it's like the club's going crazy. And it's like, yo, security has to do their job.
Yeah.
Security's getting paid. Bartenders got to make money. Security's getting paid. Everyone's working, so I'm working too. Let's get it going. Let's go crazy. So that's a big thing. Like, you got to know when to. I'm not saying break the rules. I'm not saying not to listen to nobody, because listening to people it belongs to them. But you got to know, hey, if you got me here, you know the energy's going to the sky. Like,
for sure.
And there's no way I'm holding out. I'm holding it because I'm looking bad. At the end of the day, it's me.
Yeah, and you're really just making a call on what's best for them too, right? Like they're telling you not to do it, and you're just saying, like, listen, this is actually what's best for the club right now, and for you.
If let's say God forbid there is a fight in the club, like, I'll change the vibe so like everyone can kind of mellow down. Like, yo, all right, there's a fight in the club. One thing you don't do when there's a fight in the club is stop the music. Yeah. Because you stop the music, now everyone's kind of like, why you stop the music? Now they're looking around. Now they're like, oh, shit, it's a fight. Whatever you do not stop the music. Just change the music. Like, all right, I'm playing R&B. You can play R&B for 40 minutes until you guys act right. So that's another thing that don't ever stop the music when it comes down to, like, there's a fight in the club. Stop the music. No.
Has that ever gone worse than a fight? Inside?
Nah, not really. I know I've been to one party when I was younger and I wasn't even DJing that it got crazy. There was like a shootout, literally, in the party. But I got out, so I'm good. Yeah. So I'm good. So
equipment safe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The worst thing I ever had with equipment is we did a house party in Everett, and the police came once. The police came twice, and then he tried to like
same party.
Yeah. Then he tried to like take my equipment. Like, yo, we're taking the equipment and we're at the station. You got to bring your parent. I'm like, I had nothing to do with this. I'm doing my job. Yeah. I'm told to go, and that's one of the things. Like, if you're told to, whoever's paying you tells you, hey, who cares? All right, who cares? We lit. So,
yeah.
But they were trying to take my equipment, but I kind of talked my way out of it. Then I left. I was like, I'm gone. I'm not doing this no more.
So then, where did the jump go from parties to road DJing with Millies?
Millies is my homie. We graduated the same year high school. We went to the same school. We have mutual friends, and he was always working. Like, Millies was always working, but we worked together at the teen center, and I was like, yo, we used to play ball. We used to do all that stuff together. And he's like, yo, next show you got, I'm going. He was like, bro, I don't know. Like, it wasn't like he was second guessing me. He just didn't know what was going on. So he was just like, yo, I got you. Like, I got you. And then we did a show. We did a Smokers Club tour. And that was kind of like my first stint with like, all right. I already did a tour before with the Fly Riders. So I did a tour with Fly Riders, and then Millie's was like, yo, I got a tour coming up. I don't got no DJ. Are you free? And I was just like, all right, yeah. Like, now you know me. It was like kind of a thing. It was like, all right, cool, let's get it going. So that was a good tour. We did like 7 stops on the Smokers Club tour. The last 7 stops, it was Smoke Dizza, Cameron, Unachievers.
Yeah, the Unachievers.
Unachievers and us.
Word.
And it went well. It went super well. Like, I was doing things like shutting out the lights, telling the sound man, shut the lights out on this part. Like, I was super professional when it came to it, because when I was on my first ever tour, the Sam Adams tour, I learned, like, I saw like the DJ talking to the light man, like, all right, these are the 5 songs, this is the set list at this song, we're going Purple Lights, this song. So I was like, oh shoot. So when I brought it with me. So when I was on that tour, when I was on the Smokers Club tour, I talked to the sound guy. All right, this song, this strobe light here, red light here, purple light here, and then it was like, oh shoot, how'd you know how to do that? It was just like, this is what I do. Like, this is what I really do. So
would you have to be time mapping it out for them?
No. Yes, but no.
They're looking at what you're looking at.
Right. So usually, I mean, people that don't know the sound. The soundboard and the light man are always like, usually there's either one to the left of the stage or to the right, or
they're like,
you can see them.
Yeah, right
so
past the standing crowd.
Right.
Yeah,
so you can see them. So with that being said, I used to go there, talk to them, get to know them, and then we'll do sound check, and I'll be like, all right, this is the song. So when it came down to showtime, they kind of knew, all right, this is the 3rd song. This is the purple light, strobe light thingy. So that's kind of what that was a good thing about it. And we did a good show. We had a good tour. And Millie's was like, yo, this has gotta, I don't know what you're doing, but let's keep it going. So that's kind of like the birth of that, for sure.
And when you're talking about, so you're doing a tour, did the equipment and lighting change dramatically each stop, or was it pretty industry standard at each place?
So the headline DJ, it was whatever he wants. It's his rider.
Okay.
So
word.
Right.
I didn't know that the DJ gets a rider.
Yeah, the headline DJ gets a rider. So whatever he wants, whatever his preference is what either you bring your own or you deal with it. So for that first Smokers Club tour, I brought my own, because I didn't know. Yeah. So, but
you brought your own lighting?
I brought my own set.
Okay, gotcha.
I brought my own set. The lighting is the house lighting type shit, but I brought my own set, and which was trash because they're not breaking it down. You got to break your own set down. Yeah. You got to build it back.
How much stuff are you talking about?
So I only brought like a turntable and a mixer. It wasn't really that
but it's
crazy.
still enough to require 20 minutes to do something.
Right. So you can't miss sound check, because you have to you can't just, oh shoot, we're late. You can't be late. Yeah. And
that's like the story you told about the speakers had me thinking too, where it's like a lot of the times some of the most basic like DJing, podcasting, whatever, you don't have any idea what, like, someone who's good at it and someone who's not. Sometimes someone who's good, it doesn't even seem like they're good because they just haven't had any hiccups. They've had enough experience to make sure speakers are working. That's that before you even need to hit record or do anything like that. Right. So, and did you pick up anything else when you were on the road first or second time that was like shit that wasn't really in your arsenal, whether that's crowd work or equipment, or we're just interacting with other people that have fingers on buttons?
That's it. I mean,
because then now you're not just DJing, you're also being a part of Millie's for him and his music, right?
So that's another thing. Like I'm the hype man as well. So I gotta punch in. I gotta so the biggest thing is if you're with an artist, you gotta know their music. Yeah. Like, and punching in and stuff like that is like it's something that you have to know what you're doing. Yeah. So at first I didn't know, my first tour with Millie's, I didn't really know, I knew like songs, but I didn't know the songs that he was performing, you know? Yeah. So I was just kind of like, all right. And it was like, he had his own.
Which album is this?
This is This might have been 3 albums ago. So this might have been I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you.
I think that's around the time that I really started getting onto him.
This is when the plug was like brand new.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So we did that, but it's like punching in. From the first stop to the last stop, it changes every time you hear the song. It's like I listened to so much music that I knew everybody's set. I knew everybody's punch-ins for like not even ours, like the other performers. Like I knew how if they made a mistake, if they didn't make a mistake, like I can hear it all because like I listened to it 7 shows in a row. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
After 7 shows, after 7, 8, 9 shows, it kind of like now I don't have to. Nowadays, if Millie's is doing something, so I can sound check for him. Like
Word.
I can sound check the mics. I can like, nah, that's not enough. That just needs to go down. I can do it myself now because it's like I'm used to it, and I know kind of like what sounds good. And he trusts my opinion when it comes to like, yo, nah, not today, not this song, not this crowd. And it's like, all right, whatever, we'll go whatever.
So do you ever make the track list calls on the spot? Like, do you ever have a lineup and go, I think it should change right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
But then do you feel like you're pushing too much on?
Right. I could do it, but sometimes you're like, nah, and it's like, what? So I don't know. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just force it in there, like, yo, what about this? And you're not gonna not do your song when them songs on in front of people. And after it's like, yo, why would you play that song? It's like, well, I told you I was gonna drop it. It's like, yo, I told you it's too much. That's like, don't why? I told you I was doing it. You can't control this. I got it. So that happens a lot. Like, yo, it's like we're only doing 4 songs, and then he'll be like, yo, what else we got? And I was like, now I got it. Now I can play what I want. So I'll play something that I like, and he'd be like, what else we got? And I'll play something else I got. And it's like, all right, we're out of here. And then I'll play another song. He's like, he'll look back like, all right, we'll do this one too. It's like, I got you. So that happens all the time. But it's about, like, you got to be genuine. You got to be able to say, hey, listen, this is fire. This is not fire. Or not today or today. You know, you got to have a different type of set list. We got a 10-minute set list. We got a 15-minute. We got 30-minute. We got an hour set list. We got like 5 different set lists. Yeah,
for sure. And like, did you find that, I mean, so I don't really know how it works when you're on the road and everything like that when it comes to like just on an operational outlook. But are you literally by his side the entire time, or is it like, okay, we got sound check and you need to be at the show for here, or how?
When we're at home, it's when we're in mass. If it's a mass show, we have sound check at 5:30. Like when we're on tour, obviously on tour, we're together. We're in the same hotel. We're in the same car, a Sprinter or whatever. So it's kind of like, all right, this is what we're gonna do on the way there, and then we'll sound check together, and then it'll just be whatever it is. But when we're home, it's like he'll be like, yo, what do you think we should do today? I'm like, let's do this song, this song, this song. Like, all right, add this one.
Word.
And then he'll be like, I don't think this would be good today because it's a hip hop show. Like, you also got to understand, like, if it's a hip hop show or it's like a commercial show,
For
or
sure.
it's right. So there's like a little, you gotta adjust what the show is. Excuse me, but yeah, all the time we make a lot of switches. Even backstage, it was like, yo, 15 minutes left, and it'd be like, I don't have the show version of this, and it's like, well, we'll do something else. We'll add something, or have the manager send the show version or the produce. Like, it's a lot of stuff.
And the show version, for people who don't know, it's like a ghost track, right? Where either his voice is on it, but it's turned down, or it's just a little bit, like that.
So, a lot of artists don't have show mixes.
Yeah, I had to make them for the few that I performed, and like I had no idea what the fuck it was at first.
It's tough.
Did you make that?
I don't make them at all. They go to the
studio. Yeah.
Right. So it's just like some ad libs and some of the chorus, if that, but all the vocals is gone.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes, they rap over their vocals, and because I don't know, it's weird. They like to rap over their vocals, and then you look like Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
You might like catch your breath with the song still going, and it's like, oh, how?
Yeah.
And also with the show mix, you can go at your own speed. Like, you don't have to rush. Like, You can miss a verse and be like, switch. Like, it's weird. But I'll
be doing that all the time where I sing. There'll be a song that I like, I'm singing along to it, and then all of a sudden it drops out, but it's still a certain part of the beat, and I'm re-singing the song in a different tune or something like that, just humming over the track, and you could do it a bunch of different ways.
Right.
So when I know that, like, all right, so you got house parties and starting to do clubs, and at that point in time, money's kind of still small time, and I would assume that there's this thing that goes, oh, everyone thinks that when you go on like a big ass tour, you know, that if it glitters, it's gold, but like there's still, where do you want your career to go now, right? We don't need to get into how good or how different the money was jumping from clubs to something like an actual tour with a real artist. I'm assuming it's probably a little bit better, but you're still kind of required for that 24-hour day. You know, there's opportunity cost there. So where does Vyper see his career going? Do you kind of want to make that into like a lifelong career, or at least have that be part of what's bringing in your bread and butter?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's definitely I want that to be part of what, like, I've been doing this for so long. I don't think it can't be a part of me. Like, it's something that I got accustomed to. You know what I mean? So I want it to be a part of who I am. It is who I am, and I for sure wanna get to the spot where it's like, yo, you don't work anymore. You just do two,
what
three.
You love,
you do 2-3 things a week. But I mean, life's not that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it's definitely a part of my life. It's gonna be a part of my life, and you just gotta balance it with the rest of the stuff you do. I do a lot of other things as well, so. You know, just gotta juggle.
Have you, like, what do you think the progression would be, though? So, like, you had house parties, you got the club, and now you've seen a little bit of what it could be like to go on tour. Have you started to think, like, if you were to somehow standardize it so that it's always going to be different, but somehow to guarantee you a certain kind of money, like what that path would look like?
I think my next step is A&R. Like,
okay, word.
Like, I think I can really see talent.
Yeah.
When it's like, young talent, like, yo, this kid is nice. This kid got it. I can 90-ish% feel like I can A&R for real.
Yeah.
Like producing, people always say, yo, why don't you produce? It's like, yo, I can, but like when I start doing something, like I can't stop and start it again. Like I have to like finish it to the end, or like I'm not doing it again. Like, yo, I'm straight. That's right. So like. But I think A&R, like meet with young kids, like teens, and like kind of give them the direction. I kind of do that now. Like, I know a lot of kids like in their early 20s that are really good, but the streets and other things are like jading it, like it's messing with them. So I try to tell them, hey, listen, you can't go on the road if you got an ankle bracelet on. You can't go on tour with us if you got drama. Like, it just doesn't work like that. You got probation officer. Like, it doesn't work like that. And they're starting to listen, so let's see how long they listen. But I really think that A&R is my next. If I get to the next step, A&R is my next step.
And just going through a label, an actual label already?
Either a label already, or like my own little thing, or trying to like help people make like press kits and stuff like that to send out. Like, or to help them, like, hey, what song do you think I should make my single? I think I can help them do that.
Yeah,
sure.
And one thing I picked up on, because I'm starting to consult other people with podcast shit. You know Beast, right, too?
Yeah, that's my homie.
Yeah, so I just recently started working with him, and we'll like be doing a working session on just putting together a podcast and everything. And one thing, it's probably similar for you with DJ equipment, whereas like sometimes I'll be like, yo, I don't know a goddamn thing about all of this, but then you realize you actually do know a lot more than most people.
Right. You got to go to the university.
Yeah, and that's the thing, yo. People think that they could go to school for like sound engineering or something like that. First you got to have the talent and the natural ability to want to learn more about it, but then you just need to do it, because what you learn in a 2 to 4 year school will be irrelevant the following 2 years because of just the way that equipment and technology is going.
And when I say the university, I'm talking about YouTube.
That's the university. Yeah. It really is. So, yo, every single time I'll be working with anyone, you YouTube that yet? Right. You Google it yet?
Right. Like I said, off topic, I painted a whole bike last week off of YouTube.
Oh, damn.
Sanded it. I'll show you a picture when you get time.
Did you have to put a matte coat on first?
All that. I did all of it.
Yeah,
Like, I just followed one dude, and he was just like, yo, sand, da-da-da, get this kind of sandpaper to go up
like
to 100.
high 120?
Right.
Yeah.
Go up to 120, start at 60, get the paint off,
Yep.
sand it, clear coat,
So that bike that you were showing me in the picture, that you painted that shit? The most recent one, just you and the bike in the tunnel?
Yeah, I painted
Word,
it.
damn, that looked good, bro.
I painted that.
Shit looked brand new. I was like, oh,
that.
damn.
Word. That's exactly when I had it.
Yeah,
I got it from one of my homies. He had it in his basement, and I was just like, this is my week project.
Word.
I took a week. I did everything, all the steps, and it came out like crazy. That was dope.
You get a nice sheen of color on your grass or something outside by accident?
I actually hooked it up like.
So it was hanging. Yeah.
So that was, and I got bike of the week yesterday.
Word.
And I got bike of the
damn.
week, so that's what's up. I appreciate that. That was like my weekly goal. So I got to find something this week to figure out what my weekly goal is going to be. But that was my weekly goal last week, and I got bike of the week. So
Good shit.
right. And I didn't. The one flaw I had is I didn't tighten the crank back all the way. So when I was riding yesterday, my wheel was like about to fall. My crank was about to fall off.
Oh, damn, really?
But they had like a bike station on the road, so I just tightened it back up.
You just need an Allen wrench,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
They
like
put it in
the
the
biggest
center.
Allen wrench, and then it was dope.
I got shit faced when I was like 12 years old, and my fucking crank fell off on the ride home from a party in the middle of the woods. So then I'm just sitting there with like, I can't see anything. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, never make that mistake again. Just taped an Allen wrench to the bottom of the bike and just always had it there just in case.
Right. One of my homies had like an Allen wrench kit. He had
it folds out.
Yeah, but it was like a bike. It had like an Allen wrench. It had the thing to take the chain off. It had everything in one. So thank the Lord for that. If I didn't have that, I would have probably had to go back yesterday. But I had it, and I made it to the station. I fixed it up, so it was good though. But
Good
for
shit.
sure, like I think YouTubing and stuff. Like I learned Ableton off YouTube.
Damn, and that's complicated. Ableton to me is just the one that, of all of them, when I look at the piece that it comes with, I'm like, that just seems like there's a lot more involved in that. But here, hold up. I'm gonna hit the bathroom. I'll turn the AC back on. It's starting to get a little hot.
He does podcasts.
What'd you say?
I said, if I live by myself, I'll probably have a podcast in my crib. But I just don't want people in my house and all that.
I feel you. Definitely need to go on a limb, but I mean, I did the radio. I've always been into music, but at a certain point in time, it's like you need to pick which art you want to go with. And the way I looked at it was like, I love talking to people, and this is the quickest, it's the lowest bar to entry. You got to have all this, but once you have it, your start and end for a project is record, done, and then you got to do all the editing and shit. But after that, that's it. You want to make a studio album? How many?
This is tough. So you don't bend up the thing. That's
yeah. It's like how many engineers, studios time you got to go through to make an EP. You're out thousands of dollars, and you got all this learning curve.
If you ask me about Ableton, like I might be doing Ableton at the lowest level, like warping and stuff like that, but I think Ableton's easier than GarageBand.
Yeah.
I think it's easy. Like it's the easiest one. If people ask me, like, what do you use?
I use Logic, and that. So how does it compare to that?
So I never use anything but Ableton.
Word. Okay.
So like all I know is Ableton, but I learned off the university. I learned from YouTube for sure. Like there's things that I don't know, and there's like, oh, do this and change BPM and X, Y, and Z, which is cool. But I'm like, yo, all right, like this is what works. I did a whole mixtape one time on the plane going to Aruba. I put all the songs in like a crate, and I just like dragged and dropped the whole shit. It was pretty dope. It was dope for real.
So you always been like that though? You've always been the type of person that goes and finds how to do it the right way by yourself first? Because I've always been a little bit too impatient. Like, I think the best way to learn with anything that you want to learn is finding someone else how to do it dope, and then telling them what you want to do, and then having them let you drive your way through it.
I'll do the same thing, but I'll do it first.
Yeah,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
This is what I did, and this is what I have trouble with. And I'm like, oh, this is how you warp. Or this is how you do this. This is how you put it together. This is how you fade. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now I get it. Like I've always been the type of person that let me try it first. Let me do it. I got it. Let me do it. So like even as a kid, like my mom would buy like Legos, and I'd be like, It's like a 1,000-piece Lego, and it's like
Not reading the fucking.
I'm not reading no manual. I got it. Just show me the
me,
picture.
me too. Yeah.
I figure it out, and like I'll be up all night. Like what the like, damn, Mom, you still doing that? Like, yep, it's almost done, I think. And I'll like have a whole section on the couch where I didn't do. Like, oh shoot, that belongs. So break that up, put that back in. So.
But it's funny because I'm a big fan of psychology. In a different lifetime, I probably would have not went to school for business and would have just went all in with psychology. But when you talk about cognitive neurology and the brain's ability to recall information, and as something as simple like you got to take a test. How do you prepare for that test? There's several different ways that the brain becomes very, very good at remembering the answers, right? There's just like flashcards is actually one of the best things that you could actually do for retaining information. People like that.
Said that.
But the other best ways are like, so say you're reading the book and the second you think like, oh, that's a really great point, you write down what you think the question about it would be. Mm-hmm. And then, but one of the top ways that people never forget, they give the example of you prep for this test, you take all this time out, you get to this question, you know the answer, but for some reason, A and C both seem like they could be the right answer, and you don't know, you're not sure. You get it wrong. You go back and you wrote C and you see it was A. You will never, ever, ever forget that. So when it comes to learning something yourself, there's this funny thing that happens when you're the type of person that wants to do it. You know, because I've seen these people that they want to do something, but they want you to kind of set it up for them. They're not willing to make the mistakes first.
Right.
When you make the mistake first, it's like the second you run into that issue, not only do you know every right way to explain to the professional what issue you're having, but when he tells you, you're way more likely to get the answer and never forget it because you've already had to go through a time of struggling with it. You retain it longer than someone that is just given the answer, like, you know, and they never even went through the trouble of needing to find it first, type of thing. So
I agree with that for sure. I just never so in school I was never good with tests. So the only way that I would remember stuff is I would have to record it. Like I'm really good at hearing things and relaying it back, or watching stuff and be like, did you see that? Like my new thing now is seeing movies and when they have a blemish in the movie, like, yo, she was just wearing a yellow shirt, now it's blue. Or the phone was an Android, now it's an iPhone. Yeah. And it's like, how did you see that? It's like, it's obvious. To me, it's what the hell? Like, it's obvious that they just did that. And it's like, people don't really see it until you slow it down. Like, look at the phone. Yeah. Look at the phone here. It's like, oh, shoot, I didn't notice that. It's like, yeah, I just saw it right away.
Yeah. But I also think that it's also kind of different breed shit. Like, there's this comic that is like, I don't know. He walks into his wife's like, you know, you go from 0 to 100 so quick. And he's like, yo, I walked in the room at 70. And I think I need to see everything that's going on in the room. Like all my family, friends, girls, if I go to a restaurant, they know my back can't be towards the door. I need to be looking at it all. And I think there's something about that type of person that also just keens in on every little detail a little bit more, you know,
I think I'm that same way. I see a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening. I get it.
Especially DJing, watching crowds, you probably know far before the fight happens which groups are probably and eye contact's a funny thing. You know, some people just, you see it going on from across the room and no one else knows.
I see stuff that happen outside, yo, they're fighting outside, bro. How you know? It's like, you see security running outside. It's like, I told you they was fighting outside. Like, yo, how do you know they was fighting outside? It's like, I don't know. I just saw it.
Yeah, and it's also when you start becoming aware. So all you could do is be aware and try to be better. And I think when you start fucking with music, you know, you've heard a bunch of dope tracks, but maybe when you're a kid, you never actually seen someone play the guitar or play the piano. And then you get into a live show and you're watching this person that is doing something that's almost like godlike with their fucking fingers on the stick.
Right.
It brings up the appreciation for what they have to do from when they go wow, 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 or anything like that, changing pedals. So now you listen to any song and your appreciation for the music goes up because you know how much more is going into it. Right. I think once you start seeing video cuts and I'll be watching documentaries or movies with my friends and family on the couch, and then I'll just be like, they just cut a ton of shit right there. It was a beautiful cut because you got like most people will never know it happened, but like that was a different night. Like they just like a comedy set, you know? Like that was and I've been in that situation where you need to cut something from here and put it at the end, and it's so like you're not just cutting
Even
the
this podcast
scene.
is gonna get cut up.
Yeah, but most of the time I let them rip through. I'll cut out the bathroom thing so it makes it look like I stand up and sit down, but that's about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a good point. Like eye contact, moving back and forth, like, and when you got to produce that, which is all I want to do now, right? That's all I want to do is make short films and make a docuseries. So like I'm extra keened in on just going back and researching every dope docuseries I've ever seen.
Right.
Short episodes of shit.
Are you docking the drive?
Yeah.
That's dope. You gonna put like a GoPro on the dash?
Yeah, well, so I copped that stabilizers for the smartphone, which is dope because it does face tracking. And that one's for heavier payload cameras. So then that'll be good for making content, but I'll be able to have them both because I got that, see the arm that camera's on?
Right.
You bend that joint and you can move everything at a joint on that arm wherever you want and bend it again and it sticks there.
Right.
So I'm going to have that set up in the whip. But the way... a lot of the things with art, I feel, and everything in life is like the easiest ways about it are also the way that, you know, you can express yourself without getting too fed up with the process. So like, you know, if I overthink how I want to make a docuseries, it'll keep me from doing mad shit.
Right.
But really all it is say you come on the podcast, which you are, we're talking, there's several stories, maybe it's about you in Cambridge or it's just about you noticing certain things at the club. The same way I would go and take highlights from that podcast, I'll go back and I'll take that highlight of you talking about a time in the club, right? And then I'll take that narrating voice of you talking about that situation, and now I'm going to go with you to a night that you spent at a club. I'm going to we'll look at some of your equipment, and then it's basically about taking out the video of you, but using your own and an after-the-fact one of narrating these other scenes. So even if the scenes aren't beautiful, I start to be able to give you a shorter 10, 20-minute long episode on Vyper that is keened into his lifestyle, his passion, what he's doing, and where he's doing it. So it's more active than just watching two people talk.
Right. That's dope.
And then I want to start making music videos, but I'll be the first person to tell you, like, if I'm learning all this shit, I'm not going to start charging for a while. I'm going to go make a few free ones because I'm just learning it. Because you watch with some of the, knowing what I know about editing, when you watch with like Staunch TV, is that his name? That does Millie's videos?
Oh, Tange.
Tange? Yeah. That one? Yeah. And shot by someone. There's
shot
a few,
by Don.
There's a few cats. Yeah. And I linked to it quick and DMing on Insta. Like, it's weird. Things start getting familiar. But you watch some of the things that they do and the little cuts and I know how much time, like it could take 15 hours to cut up a fucking 3-hour podcast if you're spacing it out and you're just going cut, go to camera one, cut, and then you got to make like a short compressed clip. It could take a lot of time. So you watch what some of these cats are doing for music videos. And it's dope as fuck, but people have no idea how much goes into the little shit.
And then motherfuckers be asking you like, yo, we did it on Wednesday. It's Friday. What's taking so long? It's like, you don't even know the half, right?
Yeah, and that's like one of the... So I am finally about to get all completely out of corporate and needing to use corporate as a way to float myself. This is why Hawaii is a big deal to me.
Right.
Because I went through the whole struggle of getting the money, realizing that's not what life's about, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing either, to slightly relying on it, to now like fully jumping into it. But when you sell anything in a business world, you need to build the contract. And a lot of times, you know, photographers, all your client want is that picture to look nice.
Right,
and all you had to do to get it, aside from, you know, there's a bunch of other stuff, but aside from where you're at and the lighting, is push the button. Okay, video editing is much different. You know, like to make shit sync up, you could spend 20 minutes going frame by frame and then trying 3 different ways just to see when this scene changes at this part of the beat, do I think it works for the song and for everything? Like it's got like...
It's like, I'm doing a Beyonce remix and I'm using like a Shine Post beat and another Beyonce beat. And it took me like... It took me. I've been doing it since 4th of July.
And do you have something that will tell you like the BPM of her song and then tell you the BPM of his?
I mean, I have something, but I don't.
You
really,
go off ear?
Yeah.
So do you ever get to a part where like 2 minutes later it's slightly off?
Sometimes if you warp it, it'll go off beat. So it's like,
yeah.
do I warp it or not? And it's like, it's a lot of, but you have to warp it if you want it for it to sound clean. So it's like, there's a lot of, you have to go back, and then now everything's off track, and you got to go back. It's just, you got to be patient.
So what?
Editing is patience. For sure.
What is this project? Tell me more. What is this? What do you mean?
No, I just did one, like, she has a remix with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm just remixing the remix, just changing the beat up.
Word.
Added some stuff to it. That's basically like a single remix. I'm not like doing a whole tape. I'm doing like a single remix, and it's taking me so long because it's just like I get impatient. I get frustrated sometimes. Like, yo, what the hell is taking this so long?
Yeah, and if you're not having fun on the creative part,
and I'm not like I'm using the tables. I'm just using it off the laptop. So it's kind of like, come on, dude. Like,
it's less live. Right.
So
yeah, computer work could be so tedious because you're waiting for this thing to move at a different rate than you are.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you do that a lot with remixes?
I do it when I hear it. I hear a lot of things. I hear a lot of things in my head first, and it's like, oh shit, that would be fire. And then it comes out fire. It's like, see, this is what I thought. Sometimes I hear it in my head, and it doesn't sound the same way that it sounds when it's live, like, or out when I make it. So it's like scrap.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I made a intro for myself. I don't know if you've seen the movie Matrix. The end of Matrix, he's in the phone booth, and he's like, I don't know how this is gonna end, but like, it's like a whole. If you watch the Matrix and at the end he's in the phone booth talking, it's like, I know you're out there, I know you can hear me now.
Yeah.
I know you're afraid. I know you're afraid of change. I'm not here to tell you how this is gonna begin. I'm gonna tell you how this is gonna end.
Yeah.
And like, I added that to like, I added samples behind it. I made it like echoey, like. That's like that's like my intro. Like,
and you know what's cool is I just had a conversation with my brother about the fair use laws, and there's actually a lot of leeway when it comes to even if you were to show it on video and take part of that clip and take the audio from the Matrix, but change it and make it into your own art. With music, there's not much of a loophole, but with music on a scene, and because it's now that, there is a loophole. You know, so I'm hoping I get to exploit that loophole in the docuseries where it's like, because this is a docuseries about this thing, then like I don't need as much permission on the copyright look. And I think the world's in a big bottleneck for change and innovation in art. Right. If right now you can't even, make something else into your own thing without paying thousands of dollars for it.
Which I'm not paying. Yeah,
fuck that. And Instagram's still the Wild West, so
right.
You can still get away with it.
Right, Instagram is the Wild West. Only thing is they shut me off so I figured out how to play industry music on Instagram without them, because obviously they have they block.
Yeah.
They block.
I got
music.
in trouble for it too.
So what I did was just change the BPM, just go down on the BPM, go up in the BPM. So what I do is I speed it up. Something's at like 100 BPM, I'll go to 110. It might be a little faster than what you're usually hearing that, but no machine or no whatever Instagram uses to find
they only copyright that one thing. Yeah. They're just looking for that. Right, they don't say.
So if you play it with it fast, it doesn't understand that it's that same song.
Word.
The wavelength is different, so they're like, this is cool.
Yeah.
So I know homies that will play on live. And they'll get cut off right away. Like Twin had a problem with it cutting off right away, and I kind of showed him how to do it.
Really?
And it stopped cutting out.
Damn. Yeah. I didn't know that they were cutting people out on live. I did think it was crazy that I would be putting things in my story and recording there's music on in my car or in my room,
and
they'll cut it. Or I'll get a warning, in 45 countries your shit's illegal, and this is not. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yo, and then there's times there was weed in my story, and I got warned for it. But then you'd be finding these accounts that's all they do.
That means somebody's
dropping the dime.
Someone's reporting it.
That's what I thought until I was like, okay, what the hell is this? Did it again, and then within literally 0.3 seconds. So unless it was that person, again, some asshole just watching my story.
Someone's watching your story. Someone has your story on alerts where it's hating. Ding, there he goes again, got him. So it depends on that. But whatever. People are hating. There's always loopholes around it. You can say flower, and then now it's not what you thought it was. So it's a lot of BS that you got to deal with when it comes to the industry stuff. But like there's a lot of things that Instagram will let you do and won't allow you to do. Like, let's say I took a video in here, like, oh, I'm in Tourage, the podcast, but I saved the video. Tomorrow I can't post it with the same location. I'll have to wherever. Like, people do a lot of tricks here. I can't post it like, oh, I'm here. I'll have to post it. The location that I put will be the location where I'm at, unless you have your location in like unless you made like a actual location with Instagram. Like you can make locations with them. Like, hey, this is the Grindhouse.
Because I do it all the time where I'll be saying like I'm in Boston when I'm here because I'm posting for the podcast.
But like I can't do the actual pin location. Right.
I feel you. Yeah. It's a shoddy program in that sense.
But Instagram is what's keeping us afloat.
Right. Yeah.
For now.
Any other bigger artists that you fuck with that you wanna work with more?
I work with any artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with anyone that has good music, good content for sure. I'm not bougie and say, oh, I'm straight. I don't. Nah. If your music's fire and I like it, I'll work with you.
Word.
If your music's not fire and you're genuine, I'll still work with you. Like, I want to see people win at the end of the day. Yeah. People might not want to see me win, but I want to see everybody win. So
that's how I feel.
As long as you're winning, it's half the battle, you know?
And you ever do any mixing? Because something that just I personally like, you'll have someone like Premier come in on a track and he might use things that weren't originally involved in that track to mix and like just and go back and replay their drop several times or something, and then they'll put out a track that is the mixed track of it.
So you know Scram Jones, right?
Yeah.
So you know how he comes up with like the scramble mix when he like plays. I'm doing something like that.
Okay.
So like I'm also doing like, this is where this sample came from. This is where this sample came from. So it's almost like Scram Jones, but I try to do it with local guys. Like, okay, this is your beat. You got it from Hum Beats. All right, cool. I'm trying to find out where that beat came from or what the origin of like that sound, and I'll try to find the sound, and I'm like, yo, I'll mess with it on the pad, and like, yo, what is that? And it's like, I'll play the original, and it's like, oh, something like Hum Beats or something like 808 Mellow or something like that. So I'll just figure out ways.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, because I definitely have paid like $150 for a beat, and then 5 years later heard that beat in a song and was like, oh, all you really did was loop the middle. You know what I'm saying? And then charge me $150, and that's probably not even legal.
So I'll give you a story about a beat, right?
Yeah.
I used to semi work at Middle East, and one of my good friends, Bruce, he was the head of security at Middle East, and they had something called Throw. Throw is like an EDM party every Tuesday. So I used to go to these EDM parties, and they used to have like the EDM. It was like EDM dubstep was so crazy. Like that was my first like interaction with it, and it was like, yo, this is crazy. Like not even
dubstep's hard as
not even the people. Like the music is fire. Like it's so fire. So I was just like, yo, this is hot. And I heard a song. I was like, yo, this song is so crazy. Like I gotta find a way to make a beat from this song. So I called one of my homies. He's a rapper. I sent him the song. I sent 2 other people the song. And this was on Wednesday, and then Friday came, and Kanye West and Jay-Z dropped whatever that what's that album called again? Kanye and Jay-Z,
the gold one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't know, but the Joy's on it.
Yeah,
and I love that track.
On that album, I heard "I Can't Stop." I lost it because that's the same song, EDM song that I heard 2 months ago. I was like, this will be a fire song for like if you add like a beat to it, people could rap on it. And I heard it, and I was like, "This is no way. This is the song right now. Like, this is no way. This is the song I was just talking about, and now it's a beat." And I called everybody. I'm like, "Yo, listen to the song right here." And they were like, "Yo, isn't that the beat?" I'm like, "Duh." I'm like,
"Yeah,
this is me waiting for y'all. See what happens when I wait. This is what happens when I wait. If I didn't wait, I would have found a way. Like, this could have been us. This is like, and like, this is like, I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. How like." Someone just, Kanye or whoever made that beat, took the beat out of my brain and put it into friggin', I was just like, yo, how did they? I was stunned. Like, I can remember that day like it was yesterday. Like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah.
I was shocked. Like, I had the chills. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I just was talking about making this same EDM song into like a hip hop type of thing. Someone will really rap on it. And they made the same
Yo,
exact
that's why it's like nothing new under the sun.
Facts.
And like ideas are weird. Like is it really just your own thing, or is it things floating around, jumping into different people,
Facts.
seeing which one's actually going to act on it? You know, like they say everyone's got their own genius, and you'll see people when they're playing the guitar staring off into nothing. What are they staring at? They're staring at their inspiration. Their genius is coming through them. When you see someone freestyling, it's like, how the fuck are they doing that? It's your geniuses show up at different times.
Just get lost.
And I think what a lot of artists don't realize, like, you can't pencil in your genius. This is why when you share several different careers, it becomes very hard to do a good job at the one you know you're meant for, but you've only given yourself from 7 to 9 that day to do it. You know, you need to get in your own flow state. But I think ideas pop up, and there's this 100 Monkeys theories that just says 2 islands, nothing could swim in between them. And around the same point in time that on this island, where no monkey's ever gone back and forth, finally picks up a rock and starts using it as a tool, and then 100 of his boys all also start copying him and doing it around the exact same time in history. All the monkeys on this island start doing it as well, like almost like it's a greater evolution of consciousness. It's not just in each one person on their own. You know, I think a lot of people are more enlightened and aware than they realize right now, and depression and anxiety actually a big deal because they're living wrong.
Right. I agree with that.
But I love it's kind of nice though, even though like, see, this could be us, and you're pissed that like you didn't get something out, but it is nice to see some of your ideas reflected in some other really dope. I mean, aside from Kanye's last just blow up that he just had, where I don't know if you've seen it, but he starts talking about he almost killed his daughter. He's crying.
And he has the vest on?
Yeah. Oh man, it's just. If I was his friend, I would, I'd really tell him.
I mean, he's suffering, but
he's suffering. He's suffering a lot.
Right. He's suffering, but I mean, who knows what really suffering is?
Exactly.
Right. So that could have been Kanye forever, but he's just hiding away from somebody. So who knows?
For sure.
Right.
Or just maybe it takes, a billion behind you before you're willing to finally, say fuck it and be yourself in front of everybody.
Right. Now I got my money. I don't need your help. So now this is how I really act. So it all depends on what you're doing and stuff like that, man. Like we could talk about this. We could talk about that shit forever.
For sure. I mean, well, what about? So Vyper ain't just a DJ, right? So you coach basketball, right?
Absolutely.
Your whole life, you always been playing. And
I'm a sports guy my whole life for sure. I grew up. My mom, I grew up with my mom, but my dad used to do some like sporty thing. My mom used to do some sporty thing, but I always just like we're going outside, and if there's a game on, I'll meet you guys there. I gotta watch the rest of this game. So like, I've been a sporty person, and like I've been coaching, and coaching to me is like chess, for sure.
You play chess?
I don't play chess. I used to play chess, but I used to get frustrated a lot. I can't play defense. I always want to be on the attack, and then that's not. And
then you open yourself up for the hole you're unaware of. Yeah.
So my friends now, they play chess a lot. My friends, I have like 6-7 friends that they play chess. They bring chess boards with them. They have the clock, everything. It's like a big thing. So, but I don't play with them because I can't play defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in basketball, all it teaches defense. Like we gotta defend. We have to defend. So it's weird, but. So
there's a coach for offense too, or you're just saying you're a more defense-oriented coach?
Yeah, I'm like defense and like pressure. Like I realize that pressure is what most kids can't handle. Yeah. I coach high school sports, so like pressure is what they can't handle. So if you pressure teams, no matter how much they're coached, they're gonna turn the ball over. It's a turnover game, so we gotta get at least 10 turnovers a game to have a shot, no matter who we play. If we get 10 turnovers, it's hard to beat us.
Word.
For sure.
Like, you'll see them on the court, like, literally, that it's made a difference just applying a certain amount of pressure.
Right, for sure.
And, like, you'll carry 10 turnovers a game?
For sure. We'll try. It's like, high 6s, 7s. If we get 10, it's tough to beat us. It's tough to beat us for sure. I watched 60 Minutes. There's a dude that owns the Sacramento Kings. He bought the Sacramento Kings because of this whole thing. His daughter was playing AAU basketball with her friends. They were playing together. He never coached once a day in his life. He has like a master's in like statistics and stuff.
I heard about him. Yeah.
He figured out that the way to beat teams is not about possessions. It's about turnovers.
Word.
And
you get in their head in the process.
Right. So he did something, and his daughter's team won like the national championship. And he never coached before. He just said like, listen, this is what we're gonna work on. I'll learn different types of this, and this is what we're gonna work on. And they won. And since after that, he's like, listen, I got enough money. I'll buy the Kings. Imagine that. So he had enough money. He bought the Sacramento Kings, and he just like he's trying to use the statistics for them to be.
Is that the first thing that put you on to?
That was one of them that put me on. But like, there's a coach. I forgot his name. I'm sick that I forgot his name. He said the 3 Ds: dedication, discipline, and defense. And I think that's a thing too. Like, we got to be dedicated on defense, and we got to be disciplined on defense. But we also all around, we still got to play defense. All you got to do, I mean, especially in high school, it's 30 seconds. If you can play defense in 30 seconds, everything else will be fine.
Yeah, and it's funny because in a way, that's like offensive pressure.
Right.
You know, even though you're talking about
the easiest
teaching
shot
defense.
in basketball is a layup. So if we're getting steals and making layups, it's half the battle.
It's points.
Like there's coaches that only practice layups in defense. We're not worrying about shooting the ball because we don't need to shoot the ball. We need to get steals and make layups.
Word.
Those are the teams that are like in your face. I sub in five after another, and it's no step. It was like, we're gonna wear you down, and we're gonna get you to a point of submission. And when we get there, there's nothing you can do but just say it's over. Like, we can't do it.
Yeah.
But it's a thing we gotta start when they're small. They have to be programmed early. Like, listen, this is how we play. If you can't play it, you can't play. If you want to be on a team that shoots 1 million 3-pointers, which we do, we shoot a lot of threes. But if we want to play on this team, you got to be able to defend for 30 at least.
Yeah.
And if some teams defend for 29 and they give up a foul, and it's like, we're almost there. But I could talk basketball forever. That's like my thing.
Well, you said something. Too. You said something about being a coach, and specifically being a coach with females before. What did you say? That girls need to they got to be able to like to trust you more than like if you're coaching dudes, right? Yeah.
It's a lot about trust. They have to trust you because ultimately they're not understanding why you're yelling and screaming. It's not about what I'm saying. It's not about how I'm saying it. It's about what I'm saying. And it depends on the female or the woman that you have or the female that you have that if you say something to them, they're like, what? Like, who are you talking to? It's like, well, I'm actually speaking to you, but I'm speaking to you in this way because of this. Yeah. And it's kind of like, oh. And when stuff that you tell them and stuff that you're teaching them starts to work, they start to trust you. And when they start to trust you, it's half the battle. Like, I had girls that wanted to quit. Like, I'm done. I'm not coming back tomorrow. And they came back tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And you can ask, I mean, most of the girls that play for me, they're like, yo.
And you get into arguments with them and everything, right?
For sure.
And a lot of times it's the people that you can argue with that you'll be closest with, you know?
And the thing is, the biggest thing that I learned was like, yo, when the coach stops arguing with you is when they're kind of like, yo, all right. So it's like, I argue with everybody to show them, listen, I care. You got it. Like, I care more than most people care. And it's like, I can't believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. Yeah. And a lot of girls, they deal with like, yo, I can't do it. Like, it's just not for me. It's like, if you're playing, you're on this team, you can't not make the team anymore. You're already here. Yeah. So you're good enough to be on this team. Like, understand that. and you have to, like, start to believe in yourself. Because I believed in you to put you on this team. Yeah. So don't make me look bad. My job is to make you look good, and your job is to make us look good. Yeah. And if we all move at the same speed, there's nothing that can stop us, literally. I wholeheartedly believe that. It's if we're at the pace that we're supposed to be at, it's hard to beat us. Yeah, it's hard to beat us for sure. I know that for a fact. I've seen it.
You always been like a coach teacher. You kind of feel like you were naturally more just like a type of person who could coach or teach. Like,
for sure. For sure. I started coaching probably 2009 probably. Yeah. And I coached like little kids, like small kids. I coached like how small? Like
4 or 5?
6.
Yeah.
Like 8 to 12.
Okay.
And my team was the only team that had
frustrated.
my team was the only team that had 3 girls on the team.
Oh, okay.
And I had 3 girls on my team. And the rest were boys, but like we're the only team that made it to the championship. Like not the only team, but
yeah.
we made it to the championship. We lost, but that was like a really good feeling. Like, yo, this is the team that only has 3 girls. Everyone else has 1. I have 3, and 2 out of 3 are starting, and like they're getting better throughout the summer. And it's like, yo, what the like? Who is this guy? What is he? And we don't practice. We just show up.
Yeah.
Like you show up every Monday and Wednesdays and you play. Like no practice, nothing. It's just like, yo, giving each other, me giving them that you can do it, and them just giving it back.
Do you think that experience and having 3 girls and seeing what it was like to coach them did anything for why you ended up leaning towards girls basketball? No,
no, not at all. I wasn't gonna coach. I didn't want to coach basketball. I didn't want to coach.
No.
One of my good friends, Cortland, he was a basketball coach, and he was like, yo, come to Sunday practice. Come to practice on Sunday and see how you like it. I was there Sunday. I was there Monday. I was there Tuesday.
Where?
I've been there every day since, literally. It's one of those things where I kind of like saw the progression. Like, you guys can be good if you had this.
Yeah.
And the same thing with one of my good friends, Reese. He came one day. That was his first day too. Like, he was just like, yo, this is it. And not to say like I used to coach boys in the summertime, but I realized when you coach girls, there's a lot of, they listen more. The boys, they're like, I know. There's a lot of I knows until they mess up. It's like, all right, now listen.
Yeah.
With girls, they're like, all right.
Like less ego in the situation.
Right. Which is all right. I like it. I like coach. I coach football too. I coach football and basketball. So I sit in the house. I have a bunch of stuff recorded on DVR. Like,
so what's your opinion on CTE?
I'm not gonna say it's not real, because people get hit hard, but I think if you play football at a younger age to learn it, you avoid stuff like that. I think there's a lot of kids that play high school football, like that's their first time ever playing football, and that's the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
It's because
they finally got a body they could throw around.
It's not even not a body you could throw around. It's the speed of the game is so fast.
Yeah,
when you get to high school, your mindset of football when you're in high school is like, all right, slow progression. But there's guys that have been playing since E-team or like 8, 9 years old, so they already learned the game. They learned it. So learning it is half the battle. It's like riding a bike. Once you learn how to ride a bike, you don't have to think about riding a bike. You just got to ride the bike.
Exactly.
If you're learning it, you have to like, am I going to fall if I'm going to fall if I like, I mean, so CTE is definitely real. But learning the game at a later part in your life is detrimental to you as well. Like, obviously you miss out on a lot of stuff, but it's like the speed of high school is quick. Like, people think, oh, it's only high school. No, that's the third quickest. There's high school, then there's college, and there's NFL. So it's like it's quick. It's quicker than right. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like you have to learn the game. It's like with anything, like soccer. There's CTE in soccer.
Oh yeah, they had to stop headbutting.
Right.
It's because of the hitting of
headers,
the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's just you using your head to hit a leather ball with air in it. Like, how you can get a concussion by just shaking your head hard. Shake your head super hard. You can get a sort of concussion.
Yeah, so like, you seen that movie Concussion?
No,
Will Smith. The thing in that made me visualize it more is they give the example of like how a woodpecker's tongue goes in its head and then wraps around its brain, so it's actually made to be an absorbent shock level when they're fucking in the wood, right? And humans, where that tongue is on the woodpecker, humans don't have that. It's a solution that's just in between the brain and the skull.
Right.
So they're saying that like you hear about all these cats going away to war and coming back with PTSD, and they're saying a lot of them have versions of CTE because IEDs go off and it doesn't hit them, but the shock wave that goes through them is enough to rattle their brain. So something as little as that shock wave, which it's not little, but if you looked at the brain's actually moving. Like the brain hits back and forth, and like that's the bad part. That's the part that is supposed to fuck it up.
I definitely, like I said, it's definitely real, and it's definitely. I
was just curious because you coach football, so I had to ask.
It's definitely real. It's definitely out there. But if you were taught the right way, like if you're taught the right way to tackle, you never use your head anyway. Yeah. So like it's usually like your midsection or your legs. Like you never use your head to make a tackle anyway. So like it depends on how you
should be good. Right.
But people now again it's a super big controversial thing. Like we use people that are committing suicide or dying, and we'll say like CTE. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, you could say that, but we don't really know. Yeah. So, but people run with what they want to run with for sure. But
for sure.
I like sports. I like football for sure. I played football for a lot of years.
High school,
and stuff like that.
What'd you play?
I played tight end. I played wide receiver, stuff like that. So I played DN. So those are high impact positions. But I played basketball my whole life. So it's like, I mean, you can get concussions in basketball. Taking a charge or even diving on the floor, me and you dive at the same time, we hit each other. Is that a cause of CTE? Yes, it could be. Yeah. So it all depends on how you feel. For sure.
And so you coach. Obviously, it's guys. You coach for football.
Mm-hmm. I coach special teams. Special team stuff is what I do now. That's my new.
What do you mean, like the special plays?
No, like special teams is like kickoff, kick return, punt,
punt
return.
Okay, got you.
Like that. So that's my thing. I like it. It's like it's important. It's one of the it's very important, and I started to when I used to coach D-line back a couple of years ago. Then someone gave me a special teams coordinator job, and it was like, yo, this is pretty dope. And I started to do like razzle dazzle stuff and changing stuff around, and the kids started to like it. So it was like, all right, this is what I like to do. Like this is dope. So special teams is my thing. Football, I really like football. I really like basketball. Like those are people ask me, what do you like better? It's kind of like, it's hard.
So have you ever thought like career coach, like part of? Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Like that's what like career coach is a thought all the time. Like I think that I grasp, especially basketball. Like football is hard to be a head coach. There's just a lot of moving parts, but basketball, for sure. I like it a lot, and I feel like I can hang with have a good amount. If I have a team for a good amount of time, I think they could be successful for real. For sure.
I have no idea, but like, how does coaching and reffing, those type of gigs pay? Is it like attainable to get like
sure. Like college coaches, big time college coaches get millions.
Yeah.
Right. Even assistant coaches get like $500,000 for assistant coach. But like those type of things is like, I can't be a coach Friday night after the game, then go to the club. So it's weird. It's there's a lot of you can, but it's weird. Yeah, you got to sacrifice something. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
Right now, I'm kind of like balancing both, but soon something's gonna have to give.
Yeah, one or the other.
Right.
Sounds like, but luckily it's like if one gave, you could still execute in the other and like have fun with it and do what you want on the side.
Absolutely.
Which is good because most people don't even have one thing that they like to do for work.
Right.
You know, so that's a huge plus.
Right. That's my thing, man. I like being around the kids. I like seeing kids develop into something that they never knew they were gonna be.
You have kids?
No, not at all.
You gonna?
Yeah, for sure. One of these days.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Right, but I like seeing kids that didn't think they could do something. Now they're like, oh, shoot, I had a girl that was in a bad situation, and now she's a professional basketball player, like overseas.
Oh, word, really? Yeah. Damn. So she's made it.
Right.
In a lot of ways,
It's all about the drive. Like, no one's going to give you anything. You have to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning. I don't care how you get here. If you want this to happen, you be here at 6 o'clock in the morning.
For sure.
And if you want to make an excuse, then you can be like everyone else that's making excuses for you. But I'm not going to make an excuse for you because the world's not. If you don't have any money in the world's not going to give you a check like, hey, you know.
Yeah. I know you haven't been showing up to work on time.
You're right.
And
we get it. And we haven't been at the train is acting up, and we get it. But we're gonna no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Because everyone has an answer to somebody. So I try to teach that as well. Like, listen, I know your parents and your siblings are like, oh, you'll be okay, but sooner or later, your mom and dad aren't gonna be here. Your grandparents, you're gonna be in this world. It's hard to say you're gonna be in this world by yourself sooner or later, and it depends on how you're programmed. If you're not programmed the right way, it can be a tough time. Yeah. You can end up doing stuff you don't want to do because you're just out here. Yeah,
especially in this day and age. Right, so do you find that the kids that you're talking to now that are in their teenage years, it's a dramatically big difference from when we were kids, or?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
How so?
Kids nowadays, they're if you ask them, they won't say this, but they're socially awkward.
For sure.
They can't have a conversation with you eye to eye.
Yeah,
they'll rather I'll email you. I was like, I'm here.
Yeah,
like, what do you mean? I'm right in front of you. It's like they can't really they're plugged in too much. So when I say plugged in, it's like their phone. I know a girl that didn't come to school because she left her phone at home. She was at school, like she was on the bus. She got off the bus. She realized her phone was at home. She went back home to get her phone. You're already at school. Like, where are you going? Like, I had to go home and get my phone. Then I realized it was 11:45, so I just stayed. What?
Yeah.
You missed a whole day of school or learning or whatever because you left your phone at home. They're so plugged in, it's crazy. Like, and then eventually they're going to turn it off, and then they're gonna be like, what the hell? Like, what do we do?
And they'll be a little bit too old to, like, that's the thing. You notice with some people that maybe they don't start fucking around with weed until they're a little bit older, but then they start and they have no drug etiquette or discipline with it, So you could go off a real deep end if you've never been slowly introduced to something little by little, and then boom, it all hits you. Not everyone, but you can go off that deep end.
Right, that's true.
And same thing goes with like relationships and shit, Now the fact that there's a term called ghosting and you can disappear from someone else, like, listen, no one ever wants to break up with someone else or say they want to go their own separate ways. But one thing's for sure is that you learn more about yourself and how to interact with people and situations and getting what you want and setting expectations. Oh, you learn more in that shit moment. And that will change your life forever for needing to be face-to-face and deliver bad news or break up or whatever it is, But instead of just like, I'm not going to respond anymore. And as soon as that became an option, it has given like all these situations where normally like I got to tell you what's up face to face to just not even being there. So they don't even have experience with the bad shit. So like there's some, I've realized, because I hire interns for every company I work for. Like I also love coaching and teaching, and whether any capacity I could do it in, I'll try to find somewhere in my life. Right. And one thing I would notice, like as soon as now they're like 20, 23, is they have a very hard time paying it. Like actually staying paid attention. Like they want to get to it. They want to get to like doing that. I know you need to stop it. You got to listen to this part, and then we could drive you through the next part. And they don't really make as much eye contact, but I feel like they're a little bit more fragile. Right. Like I do need to tone down versions of myself that would normally be straightforward and direct, and I'm still going to be straightforward and direct, but like it hurts their feelings if it's on a certain level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like, you're yelling at me. I'm not yelling at you.
Yeah. And I also would say that you and I both have a certain kind of face where I've misread you when just like the way that you look.
Me.
Yeah. I've thought maybe you were mad when you weren't before. And all I'll say is people say that about me all the time. So I'm just listening. I'm like, you need to listen to the words that I'm saying to you. Like,
maybe he's pissed off. It's like, I'm cooling.
I don't know. I think I solidified a kind of certain look on my face from being pissed off when I was younger, or needing to hang with certain crews, and then just stuck.
I coached a girl that her default face is mad. Like it's a mad default face. So people don't really like her, and people have a problem with her because It's like she always got that mean face. It's like that's her default face. Like she's not mad at all. She's having a great day, but
yeah.
she's just mad. And she's like, "Yo, no one understands that." I'm like, "I understand that, but you just got to learn how to like."
A lot of Asians
right.
like that. Yo, this dude in my English class in college, he looked like the Mongolian Khan. You would have always thought he was about to murder your ass. So when he laughed, it was like whole room
right,
lit up.
yes.
Yeah. But he was always probably just having like a good,
and that's the
decent,
same thing with
normal
her
day.
too. She always just had the mean face, had like this, and then she smiles like, "Oh, you have teeth. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had teeth." You're just always looking mean the whole time. It's like, "Oh, why wouldn't I have teeth?" It's like, "Oh no, we just thought you were a meanie." So, but yeah, that's the whole aspect of a coach. Is I like it. That's like my getaway. It's like I said, it's chess for me. Putting stuff together, implementing, and then you see it work out on a game day. It's like pretty cool. Or like where girls at, like they're like, "Oh, I can't shoot," and it's like, "Yo, just shoot it." And they shoot it and they make it. And they look at the bench like, "Oh, who shoots?" Like, what are you putting? Why are you surprised? Like, I told you could shoot. And they're like, "Oh." Then they start shooting too much. It's like, all right, slow it down, okay?
Turn it
like
down a
you're
little
shooting.
bit.
I'm not gonna tell you not to shoot the ball, but like, all right, in moderation, because you're getting out of hand. But keep shooting, but slow it down. Maybe 3 shots, not 20. Like, I can shoot now. I'm gonna shoot. It's like, you're not a shooter, but you can hit shots. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and they got to be told that too.
Right, absolutely, man. But yeah, that's kind of that's like my thing, man. I love I like sports. You know, eventually you get to a point where you can't play sports anymore, so you got to find a way to put yourself back in the sport. And I think that coaching is one of those things where it's like, yo, I'm in the sport again. Like I gotta prep. They have pregame, I have pregame. Like they have after game, I have after game stuff. It's like you have to literally zone out and stuff like that. I have like routines and stuff.
Would you
like
ever
that.
commentate?
It's hard. That's one of the things that I applaud them. Like even the dudes that do radio, it's like I could see the game while they're talking. Like things on the ball on the left side. That's hard. Like when in college they had us do that, and it was like I can't do it. Like it's just too fast. Like I can't say the name of the person and what they're doing without like LeBron is going on the right side with the ball in his left hand, and he passes it to Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne Wade is going to the middle of the court, and that's just super hard. It's like those guys that's a talent. That's a crazy talent because they're literally saying what they see, everything. And it's like, and then they can show like 3 in the right hand corner, got it. Now down 3, 93 seconds left on the clock. The crowd's going crazy. It's like
they're
this
doing
is
more than
right.
just saying what's happening.
It's so dope.
Even like fighting, commentating, like when they're a fighter too, they're like, "Oh, see, he's trying to get his left arm out there, but he can't, so he's gonna." And it's like, "Oh, okay."
Right. Commentators. That's why Tony. Like, if you watch football, Tony Romo is a really good commentator because he's so like he's young enough that he can still play, but he doesn't, and it's like he just got out the game probably 2 years ago, so he could tell you what's going on. Like they're going to Gronk right here. I'll never forget the Chiefs were playing the Patriots. Romo was commentating, and he was literally calling out every single play that they're doing. It's like he's like, well, it's one-on-one coverage on the backside, so he's probably gonna go to Gronk on the backside, and you see like a play action and go to Gronk on the backside. It's like, yo, Romo's going crazy. That's why he's getting paid so much money to do it now. People were mad that Romo got to do the Super Bowl last year because it's like his second year commentating, and like there's guys that have been doing it for years that's never done the Super Bowl. He did the Super Bowl last year.
That's what happens when you're good. You're good.
He found his niche. I mean, he was a quarterback. He was decent, but he's really good at commentating.
Word.
And people don't like it because like, yo, he just started, and it's like he's good. Yeah, you gotta respect it.
That's a thing though. Did he? Right. How that's all. That takes 10 years to become an overnight success. He was already a success in football. Right. Chances are he was probably already talking about this shit out loud.
And he's a quarterback, so he already can see. He can see a lot of things people don't see. It's like, all right, they're going backside. He's one-on-one coverage. The safety moved over. It's pretty dope. So.
Yeah, I think you'll see over the next 2-5 years the avenues for what you do and what you've traditionally done on a tour, at a house, or in a club, especially now with the situation with COVID, they're gonna solidify the medias that you could jump into to be, this record label is doing a guest DJ set every Friday. You want to hop in and expand your reach to give you other opportunities and stuff too. So I think that would be good. And even like you see some people, they did like people, Twitching
is crazy.
Is crazy.
I think that's the thing. That's what it's called, twitching.
Well, I don't know, but that's what I say. But when people when they do Twitch, like you get these cats making. I knew this kid. He stopped working. He's not even necessarily that great at playing video games. Got himself a green screen and the setup. Starts playing, and within 4 months went to probably about the equivalent to like 25 grand a year, and within 6 to 8 months went to the equivalent of like. He's being paid like 40 to 50 G's a year. But all he's doing now is playing video games for 5 hours. He's doing what he likes. It's because people just like Tim's, right? So they wanted to pay, and they like the game. So it's two things they like.
How weird is sitting down watching someone play video games?
That's very odd for me. I don't do it. But I guess if she was a really cute girl and I like the game, I would pay attention to it.
It's like kids watching other kids play. Like,
but then
weird.
they're doing everything now. So now it's like people watching a movie. You're watching a movie with someone else. So, and now you got Joe Rogan. He does Fight Companion, right? So, though on the weekends that they do the fights, if he's not commentating them, he's got a couple of his boys in a room like this.
Watching it, and you're listening
and
to
he's like, okay, so we're at minute 1, 31 seconds, 32, so you could sync up and you could be in the room with him and you're both watching the fights. They'd be doing things like that it's just small examples of where I think it's going to go. Like
I think it's going that way because they want everyone to be kind of like isolated. Like, you know what? Stay home.
They definitely want that, yeah.
Stay in your house. Yeah. Don't go outside and see what garbage that we're doing out there. Just stay in your house. We'll bring the entertainment to you. All you need is internet.
Yeah.
And those internet people, they're cashing out like, hey, we're gonna high speed. We're high speed right now. We're high speed, so you can do more stuff at once.
For sure.
Put the little thing in your house, so now you can have 15 people live at the same time. 4 systems on. Yeah. Online. And don't worry about it. Stay home. Do your thing, figure it out. We're going to figure it all out. So
yeah. I think for me, my niche is going to be once I get the controller that'll say, like, I got to have someone in the room being like, camera on, both Samson and Vipers, only Samson, then have a live engineer in the room. Then I could start charging a premium for companies and people that want to do a podcast to come in and use all the shit and set it up. Either that or I'll start jump starting other people's podcasts and like equipment down select. What mics do they need? What are they trying to do? Is it video, is it audio only? Because right now, there's places that exist if you wanted to do that for an audio podcast, but not video. And when they get to video, it'll only be one camera. And anything past that, traditionally, it's been like a $3,000 to $10,000 piece that needs to be in the room with a live person. So you could actually end up charging a lot of money for people that have it, that want to do a podcast and show up and sit down. Right. So that's why I'm fucking with beasts like that right now, because
they got the space.
Yo, and you didn't see it yet, right?
I saw like a video of the space, but the space is crazy.
The space is it's exactly what you need to really start and be serious about it, and it fits the mold for the environment that you want to be in. Some places you could fit a little bit more room. You could record down there in that session. You could record a podcast in this one. There's a spot to work out over there. There's a spot to have 20 people standing around doing. Like, one thing I'm sad I never got to do in this area was basically like I used to do ciphers in New York City every week, every Tuesday night with this woman, Tony Blackman. She's the hip-hop cultural ambassador for the UN. And so she would set it up. It'd be like 10 to 20 people in a circle. But these were like way more disciplined ciphers, not just going around spitting. Like, one activity would be like, they start a story, they keep going with it, and you need to go with the story, which is, it's hard. Anyone can, if you could freestyle, then anyone who could freestyle, you could get something to come out of your mouth that rhymes. To stay on subject, it's tough. Or like my boy he says it's smart monkey style, where it's basically like, whatever word you end in sets up the metaphor for the next line. Right. So like, I'm looking up into the sky, floating around in these clouds to the day. You went from sky to clouds to diet. Like, and that way, like, almost it gets methodical. It gets real crazy with it. But I always thought it would be dope. And you've seen Massa Appeal. They do rhythm roulette. Where, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Which I think that is dope. And like, the thing is, that production that Rhythm Roulette does, I could make that, but it is a lot. They're still going to make it better. But you could still make that with what we have in this apartment and a dope producer that goes and grabs 3 random albums and a dope artist. It's more now, does Vyper pick the dope artist the right way, you know, so he's not wasting his time on the episode.
Right.
I always wanted to have a spot like B's spot where you get some ill rappers that are all doing their own thing to come together and now throw some producers that are local producers in the room, because you want to own it all, right? So you want to be able to pump this out and not worry about copyright. So let's use some dope, only dope ones, but dope beats from dope producers, and let's get like you know, what they do on MTV and whatever when they do the ciphers or BET ciphers, right? I mean, most of those cats are showing up with a bunch of written bars, and then still we want to hear it, but they know the beat that's going to come on. But like, you capture that with video and some dope artists, it becomes this one piece that everyone in the room now can be like, yo, I'll give you, you know, X amount of money so I can use that promo, but it's helping everybody. They get seen next to this producer, next to this other rapper. They're all trying to build. And then it's a fun fucking time. You could have L's going, Hookah going, whatever, and you could just be charging literally like to come and have a seat, $10 a head, right? You come in, and
I feel like nowadays people don't want to pay for stuff. I don't know.
I would make this. I'd make the cipher free, but I'd blow it up far before. You fuck with the Cambridge hip hop cats? Yeah, so it's funny. I fucked with some of them via the Cypher in New York City 7 years ago. And then, you know, SETI? This dude, he's got a studio in Everett, I think. But they do Cypher Mondays over there, and they have like a room where several artists come and they all spit and they'll record it and everything. And it's I like Cambridge hip hop's Instagram, how it's professional but also simple. So it's just the one artist that comes up and starts rapping, right? And then they'll have some where it's a group cipher. But
is that the one with they're outside with it too, right?
I think so.
There's one where they have like they're like in Central Square and they're like rapping outside. He got the whole setup and it's like a tape. They got like I'll look it up when we get up, but I'll show you.
Okay.
They do it like. They find like different spots. He'll have like a battery pack, and they'll just go out there and they'll have the camera ready to go. And there's people just open mic on the middle of the street.
Yeah, that's dope.
Tough. It's tough.
But well, I guess what I was getting at is his studio is a great. Things are gonna happen there. Things will definitely happen there. It's a great setup. It's a good vibe, and I feel like you walk in, and you kind of feel the culture immediately by the art and everything that's on the wall.
Facts.
Yeah, so that'll be dope.
I started what's that thing called? Survivor Series. So during quarantine, I started something like Survivor. It's like Versus.
Okay.
But it's like local Versus, so I called it Survivor Series.
Word.
And it's like, let's say it's me and you. We'll be on. Let's say it's you and someone else. I'll be the host. I'll Instagram you. You'll be on the screen. I'll be on the screen. You'll play a song. You'll play a intro, a chorus, and a verse. The next person will play intro, chorus, and a verse, and then the people that are in the live will vote. Who do you like? What song do you like better, his or this? And they'll put like all like his. And I'll put like the way I did it was I had like emojis. It's like, yo, if you think a song is fire, you put a fire emoji. If you think a song needs work, you put the recycle. You think a song's trash,
yeah.
You put the trash emoji. And it was like, it made it a big thing. Like I did 16 of them.
Word.
And now I've been getting a lot of feedback. Bring it back one more time. I'm gonna do playoffs.
Yeah.
With the playoffs is I'm gonna have everyone like a March Madness picking out a hat. You're gonna go against this guy. You're gonna go against this guy this Friday, and then we're gonna do it like that, and then we're gonna.
That'd be dope. But so would you keep it live, or would you have something set up and
I want to do it something set up, but
because it could look pretty and then it could be used again. Right?
I just don't know how to set it up. Like obviously, if you watch Versus, let's say if you watch the Fab and Jada, right? I want to figure out how to like get both of the mics on. I don't want people like, oh, take my mic. Two mics is kind of the thing. Like sharing a mic nowadays, people get kind of like iffy with it. So two mics, two DJ setups, but all of it going through the phone where it's like, oh, now we can hear it all. The sound quality is good. Like the worst thing to have is bad sound quality or something like that, especially
for
on the phone.
Yeah, I've seen that the Rig 2 and stuff.
Yeah, I have one of those. Right. So I'm trying to figure out ways that we can go off of that. and start like a real playoffs and end it the right way. Obviously, everyone keeps like I got a text every day like, yo, what are we gonna do Survivor Series? When's the next Survivor Series? So it's like that's my thing I'm thinking about now. Like, should I bring it the finals? But I gotta find a way to do it the right way, you know. And
I'll put you onto this program, but the
please.
good part about doing some research on Twitch for me is that the program OBS that they use, you can run it all through your computer and Instagram live via.
Oh, I seen. Yeah.
So
the
then
only thing OBS you can't. It's what did they say? It's like delayed. It's super delayed.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
I haven't
super
used
delayed.
it. I just
So
knew that
Sticks,
function
I don't
was
know if
there.
it was Stick, DJ Sticks.
Yeah.
He used it and it's
Word.
super delayed.
Really?
It's like Instagram's already like 7 seconds. With OBS, it's like 17 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. So
Damn.
it's super delayed. So like, if you're trying to watch it back and do it at the same time, it kind of like messes you up. So like, you can't watch it and do it at the same time because it's just like, and then the comments come in late.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
Like,
I gotta talk to him. I know he'd be on. He's on like a different level when it comes to looking at the new waves of technology.
Right.
And
He
shit.
has a lot of stuff that's kind of like, I told you he has that like podcast thing where you can hook up like 7 mics and a camera to it and you can control it all.
Yeah.
Like bring in dudes.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
shit's
nasty. You know what I'm
that's
talking-
expensive.
Nah, it's
Yeah,
new.
yeah.
It's like 400.
Oh, really?
Some new thing. I can show it to you when I get a chance.
There's
but
one I just found for $568. It's all back ordered right now, but that's what I'm buying, and it's a switch. You could hook up 4 cameras to it.
I think it's the same thing.
Okay, word.
I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like this big.
Yeah, it's like a
Word.
little box, and you can fit in, and you can hit 4 cameras, 6 mics.
Word.
It has its own like you can put like pads in it and for like commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah, the Black Magic Pro Atom Mini is the one I'm thinking of.
I don't really know the name. I'll look it up later.
Okay,
but
word.
It's fire.
Yeah.
When he showed it to me, like it's so fire, and you can like put phone calls in it.
That's dope.
Like it's dope. It's dope, and it goes right away. And once you take it out and put it into the computer, the SD card, it already has everything. Like you don't know.
It's already cut. Yeah.
It's
and
fire.
which is huge because after the fact it takes so long.
Right.
So long.
It's like a podcast. It's like a radio station on the move for sure.
Word. Well, all right, shit. Where could everybody find you?
I am Vyper everywhere in the world. I am VYPER, Instagram, Facebook. Anything that comes out that's new is gonna be I am Vyper. I'm trying to get there's some more Vipers in the world, but I'm trying to weed them out. So but yeah, I am Vyper across the country, across the world, across the planet. That's me. Cyber Mondays, every single Monday on my IG. I am Vyper. We do it every other Monday. I just switched it to every other Monday. So next Monday we'll have Cyber Monday.
Okay.
Survivor Series we have there. We have a Privilege is a one-off summertime event that we do, but it's not happening because of COVID.
That's a rooftop party.
Right. We have a Reboot. It's something that we kind of do like classic music and old school 90s R&B, stuff like that. It's Reboot. That's another one-off. Headbanger Squad. It's the crew, Twin Selector, Trigger Trey, Tipsy, Bruce Brown, myself. This is what we do. That's how we move. We got the Grindhouse. It's a little studio we have. We go in there. We just play
That's
music.
Cambridge, or
No, that's actually Austin. We have a little studio in Austin. We go in there. We get the setup. We can put 2 setups in. We can just go crazy, loud as we want, get stuff done. Yeah, man, that's me in a nutshell. If you're looking for me, just let me know. We can do some music. We can do some whatever. Talk about music, A&R. I told you I'm an A&R, soon to be an A&R. So let me know if you got some music you want me to hear. I can tell you the truth. I'm not gonna give you the it's cool, bro. Like I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like that's not it.
yeah.
What are you trying to get to? That's not it, or that's it. I can give you the real life thing, man. I gotta make my Tourage drop later. I gotta make my Samson drop later too. I got
Appreciate
some stuff
you.
for those, man. I appreciate you having me here. It's now you got all the stuff. Now you're ready to go. So now I gotta go to Hawaii.
Yes, sir.
I gotta find a way to get to Hawaii and do some like.
As soon as COVID calms down, so then we can actually do some
I
stuff
could be
too.
on the volcano or some stuff like that out there and let's talk.
Hell yeah.
Music. We can go around. I see if I can get a club. Do like a set in a club.
Oh,
in
we'll
Hawaii.
definitely be able to make
Right,
that
for sure.
happen. Yeah, my boy's he's connected out there right now for like because he's a GM of a rooftop bar and lounge, and all the GMs know each other.
Oh, that's exactly what I.
Yeah. So he's always putting on music.
Privilege Hawaii coming soon.
Let's go.
Privilege Hawaii coming soon. So we'll figure that out, man. And I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
With this triangle right here.
Yo, man. I keep it there to help me set the cameras in the beginning, and because the Egyptians knew what the fuck they were doing
right, from the start.
From the start. I appreciate you coming on, bro. I love what you do. I think you're really talented. I think it'll be real interesting just to look at 3 years from now, like how things will have evolved. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, and where you see stuff going, like where your career's at right now and where it's going. Even if it's not where you want it yet, the proof's in the pudding. Like things are happening. So I think it's good gets better and only direction's up. Right.
I feel like it's going because everywhere I go, someone knows me. It's like, hey. So that's like, all right, cool. Like, all right, I guess something's working.
Word.
For sure, man. I appreciate it for being here, for sure. This is a rock.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Keep building.
I need to talk to Samson. Tourage Podcast. I am Vyper. I'm in here, man. Headbanger Squad. You know how we get it doing, man. We know how we get it done, man. Tourage Podcast. I'm in here I'm one of the last ones before we go to Hawaii, man. So, Tourage Podcast. I am Vyper. Tourage, we lit. It's lit. You know what we do, man. Each and every month, each and every week, each and every year, each and every decade. It is what it is, man. Vyper. Shout out Quarantine Cycles. Don't forget to put Quarantine Cycles in the podcast, all right? Quarantine Cycles, every other Sunday. We got a bike crew. Tourage is going to be there next. Before he goes, he's going to be on there with us, man. Trust me.